I'm wearing my happy face today, but I don't think I should be. In fact, I think something very, very bad has happened. It began with Nikita, Alan, and a harebrained endeavour. My two dearest friends had spent months trying to pull me out of my funk, the quirky palatable word that Alan had been using to refer to my clinical depression. Of course, I don't have to worry about that disease anymore. The day has almost entirely pushed out the night. Nikita and Alan were chortling at me from the sofa, with conniving looks on their little faces. I tried to ignore them, instead finding purchase on the armrests of my chair, busying my fingers by kneading the fabric like dough. Stimming, folk call it. Certainly used to help me when I felt anxious, but I only temporarily managed to keep my grinning friends at bay. Eventually, with a deep sigh, I looked up. Alan was hypnotically wiggling a little white pill before my eyes, rubbing it between his thumb and index finger, enticingly, which was strange as the tablet appeared no less ordinary than an aspirin, than any white pill. I didn't know why he was making such a big deal out of it. Yet the tablet enchanted me. It saw me, though such a thing made no sense. I groaned. I've told you so many times, Alan. I'm not going to try ecstasy. He chuckled. You're so innocent, Macy. It's not ecstasy. It's emptanol. Emptanol? That sounds made up, I said, though my gaze did not waver from the pill. Alan shook his head and thrust the tablet into my palm. It's real. Look, it's right there in your hand. Okay, what does it do? I asked skeptically. My friend smiled. It gets rid of pain. And I replied, Oh, right. Well, I hate to tell you this, Alan, but your wonder pill has already been invented. I've got 2 boxes of paracetamol in the kitchen drawer. No, not physical pain, he said. It ends mental pain. And you only need to take the 1 pill. Just 1. It'll change your life. Change your neurological makeup. Well, that's just science fiction, isn't it? I scoffed, twiddling the pill between my own fingers. Even the best antidepressants in the world need to be taken every day. There is no one and done fix. Alan shook his head, then nodded at the emptanol. Deny it all you want, but it's here, Macy. The answer. No more depression, and none of the numbness that comes with sertraline, so you can throw those in the bin. This is what will make you happy. I sighed again. Look, I don't know what black market drug you've actually bought, Alan, but I'm not taking it. Then my friend produced the second pill. Yeah, I thought you'd say that, so I'm going to take one first to put your mind at ease, okay? I take mine, then you take yours. You've not even tried this drug, I asked, hoisting my brows higher. Alan rolled his eyes. Well, of course not. I told you, Macy, 1 pill. That's all it takes. All it takes to irreversibly alter your brain chemistry. I wanted to wait. Wanted to take the journey with you. And just to let you know, I'm going to sit it out, said the ever-reserved Nikita. I frowned. Why? Because Keats isn't depressed like you, Alan replied, squeezing his girlfriend's shoulders. I mean, I'm not depressed either, but, you know, I'm taking the risk for you, Macy. I don't know what more you want from me. Besides, I'm going to make us some food in a second, Nikita added. Proper food, not the takeaways you've been eating all week, Macy. I'm worried about you, okay? I eat proper food, I protested, folding my arms. I just know what I like. Well, today I'm going to cook something that none of us have ever had before, Nikita promised, before smiling. But it's a surprise. It'll be a fun way to get you out of your comfort zone, okay? Oh, we're all getting out of our comfort zones tonight, Alan said. Then, without any warning, my friend gobbled down the Amphenol. There, he said, sticking out his tongue to show that he had, in fact, ingested the drug. Now we'll wait for it to work its magic, and then you'll take yours. Right, Macy? Do you even know what you've just taken? I asked, once I'd picked up my jaw. Is it safe? It's a bit late to ask that now, Alan said, checking his watch. Apparently I'm supposed to notice results within the first few minutes. The seller said that my brain would rewire fully over the course of the next 24 hours. He said it would feel like day pushing out the night, whatever that means. Right, very comforting, I said. And how does one pill fundamentally change a person's mind? My friend rolled his eyes. You remember Liam from school, don't you? LSD broke his brain. This is just the other end of the spectrum. Amphenol will fix our brains. Well, your brain. I don't think I need fixing, Then Alan trailed off, and he sat silently for a few moments, before tilting his head to eye the coffee table with great intrigue. Has the Amphenol hit? Nikita asked her boyfriend. Alan hummed curiously, coldly, like a machine processing code. So what are we having for dinner, Keats? What is this mystery meal? She smirked. That's all you have to say? I was expecting some enlightened philosophical statement. Maybe the drug needs a few more minutes to work its... Have you ever thought about it? Alan interrupted near breathlessly, stuck on some new train of thought. I smiled and asked, Thought about what? What it would be like, Alan moaned, almost orgasmically, as he ran his fingers through Nikita's hair. Careful, you're gonna mess it up, she warned. See, I never thought about it, my friend continued, ignoring his girlfriend and bunching up a clump of her hair in his hand. Nikita made an interesting point about leaving our comfort zones, trying things we've never tried before. It's given me an idea. An unorthodox one, admittedly. But nothing matters now, Macy. Nothing matters at all. Let me show you. Suddenly, like a dunking bird on an office desk, Nikita's upper body was thrust into the glass table below, then hoisted straight back up. Only, rather than heat, it was Alan's hand that fueled the engine of his toy, the supposed love of his life. The deranged man had slammed his partner's face into the coffee table, filling her cheeks with broken shards. Blood and wailing gushed from Nikita's lips, but not a sound gushed from mine. I simply sank into the armchair, petrified. And then Alan continued. He repeatedly dunked his helpless plaything into the wooden frame, all that remained of the coffee table, and lifted her into an upright pose. Dunked, lifted, barely paused, then went again. Stop! I eventually whispered, as the life started to flit from Nikita's rolling eyes. Eyes stained with blood, running from the glass protrusions in her skin. And Alan did stop, but only half a minute later, once he'd bludgeoned the girl he loved into a lifeless mess. The car man rose to his feet, then rolled Nikita's twitching body to the side with a large toe, dismissing her gurgling, fading pleas for help. I was demonstrating something, Alan explained to me. Look at me, Macy. I'm fine. No pain, no sorrow. I feel light, content, unlike you on that terrible medication you're currently taking. This is what Nikita and I want for you. Not for you to feel nothing, but for you to feel happy. And that was what made me shudder. Alan wore a beaming smile on his face. I know that I was, at the time, afraid, but I've forgotten how that felt. I'm beginning to forget how anything dark felt, as dawn is transitioning into day. Get away from me, I remember pleading. My face was coated in a film of tears and snot as Alan approached. I tried to escape, but my friend quickly hurled me back into the armchair. He shushed me as I shrieked for salvation. My dear friend answered my cry for help by wrestling the second Emptinol pill out of my palm, then prying my lips apart. Don't worry, Macy. You'll never feel terror like this again, Alan promised, before thrusting the pill into the back of my throat, then shutting my lips with his fingers as I started to gag. No, Macy, no. Swallow. I mumbled sounds of refusal, but Alan gently smiled. He was so joyous. And I understand why now. He was free. Free of pain. Swallow, Macy. Otherwise you'll want to call the police. And then I'll have to snap your neck, he softly said, stroking my hair with his free hand. It wasn't a threat. It was a promise. Not a hint of venomous spittle projected from Alan's soft lips. No, he simply wanted me to feel the same way as him. And I swallowed the pill, of course, as I didn't want to meet the same fate as Nikita. By this point, she was lying entirely still. Barely 5 seconds later, there came more than serotonin. More than the simplicity of a chemical change. It was an awakening. A giddiness. This wasn't like the antidepressants. Everything was bright and colourful. Beautiful. And it is only now that I even find myself asking questions. I know the Emptinol has almost finished its work, has almost finished remodelling my mind. But some part of me still feels an urge to tell this story, to reach out to all of you. Something's wrong, isn't it? Isn't it? Alan says I shouldn't even have questions anymore. Questions are doubts. Doubts are worries. And worries should be purged by Emptinol. Well, the drugs must be taking a little longer to fully mend you, Macy, my friend explained at the kitchen table yesterday evening. That must be the case for some people. Admittedly, even I was a little uncertain when I killed Nikita, but then I remembered why I had decided to do it. I felt tremendously excited. You see, bludgeoning her was no different than mashing potatoes for a Sunday roast. You'll understand that. Just give it a few more hours. A day, perhaps. I nodded and smiled. Then I tucked into the meal. Long pig, Alan had chuckled when he placed the dish in front of me a few minutes earlier. I'm positively thrilled to be trying it with you, Macy. And he had been right. When I finally summoned the courage to tuck into the dish, I felt joy like no other. Human meat is easier to appreciate from a culinary standpoint once you rid yourself of morality, and in my case, neurosis. He said it would be that way. Wow, I've never tasted a dish so succulent. Nikita was medium rare, perfectly cooked. Nevertheless, the drug hadn't quite drowned all of my pain. It still hasn't, but it was worse last night. That's why I'm putting this story out there. Part of me, strange as it seems, I know, remains fearful of Emptinol, though I haven't the foggiest clue as to why. After all, it's made me happy. It's cured my depression. I'm trying to think. Why? Why do I feel this way? Nikita was a little fiddly to eat, as I still felt residual sadness, anger, and fear. As you might imagine, that spoiled the meal ever so slightly. It didn't sour my mood, as Emptinol had already washed such capacity away, but it certainly kept me from maximal happiness. I don't know how to explain it. For some reason, there lingered a horrified part of me, far from my conscious mind. I had to incessantly dab away the tears from my eyes, so as not to oversalt the meat. And I found Nikita thoroughly delectable, but it was difficult to swallow each mouthful, as my vocal cords insisted on screaming.